So last year's matrics have just 3 days left to wait for their results. Today, Umalusi gave the Education Department the green light to release the results for the 2022 matric exams. But there are some serious concerns about cheating. eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu following that story and joins us now. Manqoba, thank you so much for joining us. These results are coming out a bit later than we expected. Talk to me about what the quality assurer, Umalusi, said, sort of officially giving the green light to these results being released.
Well, certainly, Sally, recall, of course, that the past 2 years, these group of matriculants have had it hard with COVID-19 at the schools, which affected learning and teaching. We know the restrictions that came along with COVID-19. And so that saw the curriculum back in 2022 starting a week later, which is why then we're seeing these results also being published almost a week later than expected. The department saying that the exams themselves also started a bit late last year and ended later than scheduled. But of course, they are hoping that come this year, those impacts of COVID-19 would not be as it was back then. So that's the reason why, Sally, they are coming out a bit late. But in terms of Umalusi, they, of course, have given these results a thumbs up. They have done the qualitative assessments. They've done, all the work that needs to be done in terms of checking these results. They are saying that there are no systemic, irregularities that were reported in these exams, even though there were some of those irregularities were noted in different, venues. But what is a relief to CSL is the fact that there was no leakages at all in terms of exam papers. And Umalusi is saying that this is one such achievement in this past exam. But however, they're saying, Sally, that all in all, overall, these examinations are credible and they are of integrity. But take a listen to what they have to say.
Having studied all the evidence presented, the Executive Committee of Umalusi Council concluded that the examinations were administered largely in accordance with the regulations pertaining to the conduct, administration and management of the National Senior Certificate Examination. The irregularities identified during the writing and marking of the examinations were not systemic and therefore did not compromise the overall credibility and integrity of the November 2022 National Senior Certificate Examinations administered by the South African Comprehensive Assessment Institute. The Executive Committee of Council therefore approves the release of the Sakai November 2022 National Senior Certificate Examination results.
So when we're talking about the problems, I think the key phrase in that statement is this: the irregularities identified were not systemic and therefore did not compromise the overall credibility and integrity. What do they mean when they say that the irregularities were not systemic?
So this means, Sally, that, these were not, some of those irregularities that would compromise, the exams themselves. There was pockets of incidents that happened in various, exam centers, and they were able to trace and detect those, irregularities. For example, there were issues with group copying that were, reported to Umalusi, by those that were, doing the moderation, where they've seen similar answers in some of these exam papers. There were also issues of crib notes that were reported. There was widespread cheating that was reported, which of course is concerning Umalusi at this particular stage.
So nothing at the sort of the centralized stage where a paper is leaked far and wide. Do we know how widespread these non-systemic irregularities were? I mean, do we have any idea how many kids might have cheated?
Well, Sally, we do have a bit of an idea. In fact, what we understand, Sally, is that it was not only in a particular province, but it was widespread, different provinces, and there were different irregularities that were reported as far as, cheating is concerned. There were group cheating where it was found that some of the learners, especially in TVET colleges, had used WhatsApp groups to share answers. There were also invigilators that were implicated in helping and assisting students, and there were impostures even, Sally, at some of the exam centers that were found by the department. I think they gave a bit of stats as far as some of the group cheating was concerned. I think in Mpumalanga, involving that WhatsApp group, Sally, it was 58 centers and 1,800 pupils or candidates that were implicated. And you go to the issue of copying in the Free State, they reported about one case, and in KZN there were about 600 of those pupils. So these are just some of the numbers. It's not
Which
all
will,
of them in entirety.
Investigated.
Indeed, and that's what they're saying, Sally, that they're going to investigate. The investigations are still ongoing. But what they did, though, appeal to was for those that have been implicated to come forward to assist as far as those investigations are concerned. But Umalusi did give an instruction, Sally, to the Department of Basic Education to either nullify or block those particular results from being issued on Thursday. So those are not going to be released up until those investigations are complete. But let's take a listen to what Umalusi had to say about this.
Another equally important matter about which Umalusi remains seriously concerned are reported cases of irregularities during the writing of the examinations. According to the reports received from different assessment bodies, different forms of cheating were uncovered in some centers during the examinations. This includes candidates found in possession of crypt notes and or cell phones, sharing of answers via WhatsApp groups, imposters found in the examinations rooms. Some answer scripts had different handwritings, etc. Based on the magnitude of the offenses, different sanctions have been meted out against the candidates involved in such malpractices, such as the nullification of results, barring the candidates from writing the examinations for either 1 or 2 examination cycles.
The investigations are continuing. Of course, some preliminary work has been done. That's why there was this decision to block, because some evidence had been found pointing to some malpractices that would have taken place there. But of course, we'll comply with the decision, we'll block the results as instructed by Umalusi and then continue with the investigations. We want to conclude the investigations as quickly as possible. So right now, we're just appealing to all the implicated persons to cooperate with the investigators.
All right, so that's where we're at. The green light, basically they're credible, but there clearly has been a fair amount of copying and cheating in small groups or on an individualized level, which is being investigated. But we're going to get all the results midnight on Thursday, so we know that Friday morning is going to be a very intense time for the matric class of 2022. Thank you so much for that update, Manqoba Mchunu.